Travels with Ian, Dorothea, and Chuck, summer of 1999. Alaska, June 27th through August 21st. Distance traveled 9,325 miles. States covered: California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Idaho, Utah, Montana, and Nevada. In Canada, British Columbia, the Yukon Territory, and Alberta. Let me introduce you to E.T. and Terry. E.T. is the Ford Expedition and Terry is the travel trailer, 23 feet in length. It's June 26, 1999, and we are leaving in the morning for Alaska. Let me introduce you to Barney, a purple and black motor scooter. Came out of a junkyard, fixed up, works fine. We carried it on the back of the travel trailer all the way to Alaska and back.
Chuck is backing in to our campground, or camping spot I should say, and Ian is with a CB, very busy helping him, and we have to go to a specific spot which has been marked by Chuck on the sand, and Ian is getting him into that spot. And he said to stop, and here we are in a very pretty campground.
Oh, here at the third rest stop, letting Grandpa go to the bathroom for the third time today. And I'm going to follow him and make sure everything comes out okay. Okay, we'll just keep walking along. And oh my God, there's a curve there. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to make sure he gets everything out. Okay, there goes one sick person. Up, here he comes again. Gonna go walk up to him, see if he got everything out okay. Here I go. Let's make sure he got everything out. Oh, I think he's trying to say something.
Don't waste the battery.
Did you get everything out okay?
Yeah, I got everything out just fine.
You did, okay.
That's one way to go shopping.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
I think we got something free.
Ooh, thank you
How
very
am I
much.
on that side?
You're fine.
And there goes the lady. There's a clear picture of her. We are now entering Canada, and you will get more updates as we go along.
Man, talk about, ooh.
This is what we got from that nice lady. She gave us some pins, because yesterday was Canada Day. It's like our Independence Day, but it's for Canada.
Because there's quite a bit of current. The weather is improving, the sun is coming out. Oh, somebody is passing us illegally. Must be from California. Oh, we're going around a bend here. Oh, it looks so pretty.
Good morning. It's 4th of July, and we have our little flags on our breakfast table this morning with our coffee. And I want to show you these flowers. These are flowers that are just picked up alongside the highway, and the fields are just full of these flowers. They're just gorgeous. Anyway, it's about time for us to get on the road as soon as we can finish our breakfast. The Bayou Falls. And to let you know that today being July 4th, we have seen 5 bear, 1 moose, 1 porcupine, and 1 bald eagle today. I mean, the place is just full of all sorts of wildlife. The road has been excellent. The accommodations along the way have been just super. Dawson Creek, start of the Alaska Highway, mile 0, 1942 and 1992. Okay, this circle that you see the RVs and the cars going around is actually the mile marker 0 location. And tomorrow I hope to drive our rig around it and then head out of town.
And here we go, the first bear that we can actually catch on videotape. It looks like he's about to, well, he's staring at a car right now. now we have to leave, but it's walking right beside us right now. And there he...
Aren't they pretty? You're just standing on the highway, on the side of the highway, looking at it, everybody, and traffic is slowly going through. I do not know if they're
Well,
looking
there's a couple
for...
babies there too.
Let me see. I'm supposed to get some babies. Where are the babies?
I can get a clear picture of the baby right there.
Oh, there they're walking. Oh,
Okay, this is just a picture of Muncho Lake. We're about 430 miles up the Alaska Highway, and another 10 or 11 miles we're going to spend the night. So, anyway, it's a very beautiful, colorful lake. Well, we're down here on Muncho Lake, and it's we're debating whether we want to stay a couple of days here. We've been driving pretty fast. We're actually a day and a half ahead of our schedule, so we need to some break time. And just a picture of the shoreline alongside the lake and the RV park. I got a fishing pole in the water. Let's see, where are we located at? There we are.
Watson Lake in the Yukon Territory. This is where they have the world famous sign forest. The people have been putting signs up here since World War II. There is an estimated 40,000 signs up here now. It's a lot of fun just to walk up and down the rows and see what people have said, whether it's just their name or making a statement, but it just goes on and on.
What we have here is Ian setting up getting the trailer level in a campsite, and we're staying in Watson Lake. Okay, this is actually his very first try doing it, and he seems to be doing pretty good.
There were some plumbing problems at the RV park, so we moved to a regular National Forest campground in Watson Lake, and here's some wildlife with Ian. This is the Tetlin Bridge going across Tetlin Lake, and what's unique about it is not paved. It is wire mesh on the bridge. The bridge itself is about 900 feet in length, and you can hear the sound of the roadbed under the tires. It sounds quite funny.
And here's a sound we are making.
This is actually Ian's first attempt at gold panning. Later on, and of course this was commercial place, but later on Dorothea and I and Ian did learn how to use the gold pans correctly, and we did find gold. Of course, not enough to pay for anything, but we found it out in the wilds, in the streams. It was a lot of fun learning how to do. This is the Yukon River as it goes through the city of Whitehorse. Now, the Yukon River was the main source of transportation 100 years ago. They had steamboats running on it. Gold miners would use it for canoeing. You could walk in on it during the winter time. And what is interesting about it is the headwaters of the river actually start 35 miles from the ocean and runs for 4,000 miles before it actually empties into the ocean. So it's quite a fascinating river. And there is a pontoon aircraft coming in for a landing someplace.
Well, there's the suspension bridge. Ought to be interesting when we get up underneath it. Okay, there's another shot of the suspension bridge. Well, there's people up there taking pictures of us, and we're taking pictures of them, and everybody's taking pictures. the visitor center in Haines Junction at the Koalani National Forest area. Sounds almost like a Hawaiian name. This is still in the Yukon Territory. We're probably about 60-80 miles from the Alaskan border. We're going to continue to the north. But the mountains are tremendously beautiful and extremely high.
One of the things to remember when driving through the North Hemisphere that this area is covered with snow a majority part of the year, so the only time of the year they get to work on the roads is during the summer months. So we run into these flaggers, or these places where you have to wait for a pilot car to take us through, and we wait anywhere from 5 minutes to a couple hours. But people would get together and talk about where they're going and what they're doing.
What we're shooting here is one of the pieces of equipment for repairing the road. I mean, they're huge. I mean, this thing is like, the tires are bigger than the car here. And, okay, here comes another big one. Very big, huge dump truck.
We're going by some really big, heavy machinery. There's a huge tractor right there. This one has double wheels in the back. It looks like it'll make a good monster truck.
Let's see, there's Ian running around the trailer park with his little motor scooter, Barney, blue and black. Well, it's not his, it's mine. But we're just having a good time with it. So purple and black, eh? And there it goes. Let's see how this works. This is the end of the Alaska Highway at mile marker 1422 at Delta Junction. We're still about 100 miles from the Fairbanks, the city of Fairbanks, but it's been a really interesting trip. Okay, what we have here is Ian and Omi are down at the riverbank, and this is the Chena River, and she's doing a little gold panning there, and you know what type of luck she's having, but having a good time. Anyway, this is a very pretty river in downtown Fairbanks. We're out behind the fountain and the river, Chena River, going through the middle of downtown Fairbanks. During the summer months, these people just absolutely go crazy about raising flowers. I mean, I understand that the nurseries do a land office business right after the Memorial Day weekend. Now there is a couple of tourists, if I ever saw them. Well, we're at the Wildwood General Store in a town called Joy, Alaska, on the road up to the Arctic Circle, and we're here. We're going to have a tour guide explain to us about living up here.
Back in the 50s or 60s, this young lady's parents turned hippies and decided to live in the wilderness, and they moved to a town they created called Joy, Alaska. He ended up raising 18 kids, 3 of which were their own, the rest they were adopted. But that's what they did. They came up and made their own bread and farmed. They almost starved to death the first year. Local residents helped them.
What we're talking about is the fireweed that we've seen along the highway in the Yukon Territory. This is gone along the road again to the Arctic Circle, and that's what it's called. It's fireweed.
Do you want me to?
On the road to the Arctic Circle, there were several miles where the pipeline is above ground, ran right alongside the road. Quite big. I was surprised.
We're up close to the Alaska pipeline now, and as you can see how far it just extends beyond out of sight over mountains. One of the reasons why they built it above the ground is because the permafrost, the pipeline would cause damage to the permafrost. And the picture of our tour bus that we're on, there's probably about 25 of us on the bus. The road is all gravel. About the main traffic is trucks, few cars, is the state flower of the Yukon Territory in Canada. Okay, I just wanted to take a shot. This is just a gravel road. This goes all the way to Prudhoe Bay. The biggest problem on here is the 18-wheelers do run this dirt road at high speeds, throwing up gravel. So they do recommend that you have protections for your windshield. Okay, we're 60 miles away from the Arctic Circle and 120 miles away from... well, I got to take a picture of this from my friend Bob. This guy is driving the highway, I guess it's the Taylor Highway, from Fairbanks to Prudhoe Bay and back. And he is really well stocked on that motorcycle with gear. A boat used for a small boat, actually, to use for gold dredging. It looks like they got suction pumps and a sleuth box on that. And let's see if we can get this thing up here a little bit closer to see that. Okay, what we're headed for is actually through the woods to a lunch spot that the tour operators have set up for us. And we're out of the wind, and it is a little cool outside.
Mustard, Dijon mustard, and how it works is you build your own sandwich here. Plate, bun, napkin, take the meat, you know, build a sandwich.
No, go ahead.
You can break the ice, go for it.
So we're at the Arctic Circle, latitude 66 degrees, 33 feet.
I'm ready.
They put down a red carpet on the ground with a line across it. Hey, Ian's crossed the Arctic Circle, man. Hey, whoopee.
And here we got everybody going across the Arctic Circle. Or, yeah, what he did was our tour bus guy got a red line out. Or a red carpet for everybody to go. My grandparents said they're going to skip across. Here they go. They're old and they're retired. I guess they have the right to do that.
We've hit ice about 1 foot down. He is digging a hole until he actually gets down to the ice. And of course, there's quite an audience here watching what it is that he's doing. And
They
don't have snakes in Alaska.
Snakes and fleas.
and no snakes and no fleas in Alaska, somebody was saying.
Try it.
What they're doing is Ian was holding out the mud for people to touch. It's extremely cold. Okay, this is 11 o'clock at night. They're taking a boat, a big, huge boat, out the middle of the highway. They stopped all traffic in all directions. Has to run about 400 miles all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. It's a big thing. Imagine this thing is 11 o'clock at night out here and still daylight.
We're actually in a tourist attraction area, and this is where they give a demonstration of how they get the gold out of the earth. Big giant scoop, pours it slowly into a sluice box with a lot of water washing through the sluice box, separating the large rocks and pebbles from the gold dust. And this will be trapped, surprisingly enough, by astroturf. That's the latest thing for trapping the gold. Once they've done this washing process, they will then take the astroturf up, rinse it off into gold pans, and the final process is panning for gold.
Well, you're going to see the gold come out of the ground. This material is called concentrate. It's what's washed in the box. We're going to pan this out, so the gold is going to sparkle your eyes and it'll start firing.
This is where we actually learn how to use the gold pans correctly. How to slowly shift the pebbles and the dirt away from the gold dust and getting down to where you actually get the metal shavings and all the residue. And you'll slowly see where the gold will actually disappear, show clearly. And it is quite bright, so there is no doubt when you have found gold.
Helpers to your rescue. Here at the sluice today, Jay, Pete, and Dirk will be handing out the gold. Then they'll join the cook cat crew. The coach commander will move marble to start to roll it gently around the base of the pan. Tip the pan to control it. Let the water wash the dirt off the gold. Yukon, I got a nugget up here. Looking good. $6 an ounce. We factor in the purity. The gold we find here coming right out of the ground.
Just to make sure we ain't missing nothing. Because this here, looking at this, you can see how it looks like it's peeled back off of something.
You want the something?
Where's your mama?
Okay, we're in the El Dorado mining camp, and the train's taking us around, and we learned how to pan for gold, and now we're riding the train back, and it's all full of fun. And let's see if I can find a couple people. There they are, right there.
Finally went down to see her pa. You know she's got a pa-in-law. Moved out there to buy her clothes. Got a bunch of little diggy lows.
About 20 miles north of Denali Park, and this is fresh fallen snow as of last night. The day has been rather wet and rainy and stormy, and you can see it's just covered the hillside up there above us. It's a couple thousand feet above us, but it is definitely fresh fallen snow. Let's see if we can get up even closer there. Yeah. Anyway, it's cold and wet, and we're moving along and heading to Denali Park as far as we can drive a car in at about 14 miles. Anything beyond here has got to be done by shuttle bus. It's got to be, like I say, somewhere in the high 30s and maybe mid 30s. Colder than heck, overcast. Beautiful, beautiful countryside. Everybody is dressed for cold weather, even though we didn't intend to come in here for cold weather. And there's Mr. Ian. Now, off to the right of that mountain there, and behind it and in the clouds is Mount McKinley. And simply too overcast to see anything. Focus. Right, that does do a good job, doesn't it? With a little yellow flower in the background there. Okay, Dorothea says that this looks like a wild impatiens. Pretty purple flower. You can see the size of the flower against Dorothea's fingers. We found a bridge across the stream so we can return to the car on the other side of the river. And there were my walking companions. There they are. Dorothea's checking things out with the binoculars. We're dressed against the cold, that's for sure. There it goes. Now that's a good picture. You can see how rugged it is along this trail. Everybody's up there trying to find their way. And there's Mrs. Hale, just one hand in a glove and one hand in a sling. And the grandson's all covered up. What a ball. Like that is a little marmot. We think. We're not sure, but he's just happily chewing at some flowers there. I don't know that I can get any closer to him and still get it focused without shaking too bad.
Oh, I can get closer to him.
Definitely is not a beaver, and it is not the furry tail, and it's not a porcupine. And he's just wandering along here. And come a little bit closer. Yeah. He's just helping himself. Wonder how close in I can get on that. He's just eating those leaves just away. Looks like Ian's fairly close to him, and he hasn't moved yet. Ian's moved just a little bit closer. The vehicle's going by. This is the furthest that you can drive. And let's see if I can get up Beyond that point right there, you can go by shuttle bus only. We're parked just over to the right of that. Just completed about a 3-mile round trip hiking in the cold and the wet. And
this is some of the wildlife that we saw inside Denali Park. This is a ptarmigan. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. One of the birds turns white in the wintertime. These are caribou Ian's taking the picture of.
Well, the sun is coming through the clouds and hitting this mountain. I don't know whether it shows in this picture or not, but it is just coming through and shining brightly.
In here.
Go up a little more.
A little more. Okay.
On the bottom of the hill, right there.
I got about 5 feet in the front. I'll lose it 2.
Okay, right down there. See
How about there? Can the back see now?
There he is. That is a wolf. Finally got a shot of him. Crossing down off the road. Walking away from us. The bus is slowly moving forward.
This wolf is wearing a collar that has a radio transmitter in it, so they can track the wolves in Denali Park.
Over here. Not sure if you can see it now. It's just when around the thing. It's coming out very soon. It's going pretty fast.
Okay, it's Sunday, July 25th. We have left Denali. We spent a night in Willow. We have bypassed Anchorage. We're on the Park Highway headed towards Glen Allen and then tomorrow down into Valdez. And this is our very first up-close glacier. So let's see what we can do for a shot here and see if it'll focus. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're still near the glacier, and way up side of the hill are some mountain goats. And they're a long ways off, so the camera's shaking again. Okay, another picture of the glacier, and it's a long ways off from this viewpoint, but it is just a long, winding piece of ice. Alright, it's the morning of the 26th. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and this is just a shot of our the RV park we're in. It's heavily wooded, and there's a little stream going behind us, and we'll show you around. Alright, this is another angle from our campsite, and a little river going underneath a wood bridge. Now that wood bridge, we have to drive the rig across. That's exciting. See some RV campsites on the other side over there. There's a picture of Barney on the back of the of Terry Girl. That's what we call it, trailer, Terry Girl. And Ian did get a little fire going yesterday, even though it was raining. And we get to listen to the water running past our campsite all evening. It was a very lovely campsite. Now remember that these campsites, even though they're quite pretty, have a lot of mosquitoes. So we do live with the repellent on us. We spray our clothes and light spray in our faces. And to us anyway, that it rained a lot, but right down there where the carpet is outside the door is completely dry, and the tree above it just simply shed the rain off. Here is the Worthington Glacier, and it comes down almost right to the roadside. And let's see if I can get in here really close, see how it is. I mean, there's some, it just comes right down close to the road. And it is just still raining. Okay, this is Bridal Veil Falls, about 18 miles outside of Valdez, and it just goes a long ways up there. And we're sitting in the car trying to stay out of the rain a little bit. But it is truly a beautiful waterfall. All sorts of little ones surrounding this area too. Just a tremendous amount of water coming down off the hillside.
We are on the other side of Valdez, and it's called Alice Point. And Chuck and Ian are getting ready to do a little bit of salmon fishing. daughter got a fishing license for a week today, and one can actually see the fish jump here. Also, we got to see a couple of seals already, and maybe they are going to be having a little bit of luck. Well, here's Ian. He just caught up. He caught a fish. He's fighting it already. I mean, he didn't have his fishing line in the water for about 2 minutes. And let's see what he's going to bring up. There's a fish. I bet Grandpa will have to help him here. There's Grandpa. Let's see Ian getting it in. Ian is talking to the fish, whatever it is. But he's going to get him. Oh, there he is. He said, "You're not going very far, mister." Oh yeah, let me get the eagle here to Ian. We saw the eagle.
Ian and Dorothea got to see an eagle snatch a salmon right out of the water.
Chuck, we saw an eagle with a fish in his mouth. I couldn't get him.
What?
We saw an eagle with a fish in his mouth. Nope. And Ian's still fighting here. Come on, bring him up. I need to get a picture of him. Oh, there's the fish. Yeah, here's Chuck now catching a fish. But that's just a tiny one. Ian had a bigger one.
Ian and I caught enough fish to lay in about 20 pounds of fillets. I mean, just delicious salmon.
Proceeding now to the dock area. Let's see how this guy maneuvers this boat. We're in Valdez, and we're headed out to the glaciers, and it's going to be a trick maneuvering this boat out of here.
We're taking a tour boat out of Valdez to the ice glaciers, and along the shoreline we saw many beautiful waterfalls and bald eagles along the shoreline and seals. We're beginning to see ice in the water as the boat moves along, and of course the further we get towards the glaciers, the more ice we ran into.
Okay, I don't know the name of this waterfall, but it was just told by the captain that it's got about a 300-foot drop in that one section right there before it comes down. And then he was saying that there's some bald eagles on the beach. I'm going to try and locate those in a half a minute. Trying to get a picture of that bald eagle sitting on top of that branch right down on the beach area. I got full zoom on this thing, so it is bouncy. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. Okay, now there's one right down on the water. Looks like there's another one right close to it. He is chewing on a fish, it looks like. And beautiful bald eagle, doing what comes naturally. That's called eating.
We're starting to see small icebergs now. We are amazed about the color of blue in the icebergs. Just absolutely a beautiful shade of blue. Very cold outside, very windy, but a beautiful trip.
These two right here.
They serve some good food on board ship. That's hot clam chowder, bagels with cream cheese and lox, and we were inside and snug and warm. Only went outside to take pictures. And the closer to the glaciers, the more ice in the water, and the boat has slowed down as it maneuvers through these hunks of ice. And there's the glacier. That's our destination. We're going to maneuver the boat up as close to the front of that glacier as possible. I'm trying to get a reflection on the water there. The water is silky smooth, and the reflection of the glacier on the water and the ice pieces, blocks of ice in the water, as we maneuver closer to the glacier. The blue color to the ice is just unbelievable. Beautiful. Now we've gotten out of the ice field, so the boat has picked up a lot of speed, and we're heading towards an island where we're going to have a buffet lunch and catch some pictures of some beautiful icebergs in the bay. Okay, the boat is stationary, but if you look closely, you can actually see the flow of the ice coming off the icebergs, or off the glacier. The ice in the water is actually moving to a current.
Hey, we're standing in line for a buffet luncheon on an island called Grover Island. And these are icebergs just floating around in the bay here. And we're anchored up down below. Okay, this looks like a piece of ice that is just crystal clear. See, the Ian's kicking it, but I mean, it's just absolutely like a diamond. This is just pieces of ice that have washed up onto the beach, and some of it is just absolutely crystal clear ice. I think Ian's taken on a bigger piece of ice than he can handle. I mean, at least he can't throw any snowballs at me. You can see the bay here is just full of icebergs. Some of them are quite pretty.
Some of this ice is just absolutely crystal clear. Just beautiful white. And like I say, best way to describe it is just crystal clear. And here's Ian trying to get a rock out of one of the big, huge pieces of ice. By God, he did it.
They're almost got this thing out of the water now, and
Well, chances are this late in the day, there's probably not a lot of fish.
there they're starting to splash.
Definitely a few in there. See them pulling on, and they have a hold right in the middle of that boat. They pull that net on board and drop those fish right in the hold. And as seawater.
Wow, look at that.
All right. Well, you can see it.
We're now in a spawning viewing area, and these are salmon doing their thing. Well, we're here watching a demonstration of sled dogs pulling a sled, and found out they actually have races here in the summertime where they have the sleds on wheels. But this was just a demonstration of how enthusiastic the dogs are. We're now on the Taylor Highway, also called Top of the World Highway, and it runs between Tetlin Junction and Dawson City. Part of it's in Alaska and part of it is in Yukon Territory. Now what is humorous is I started driving from Tetlin, and after a few miles Dorothea offered to drive. Well, I let her drive, and about 2 miles after we started driving, we hit dirt road, and the rest of this road up to the Canadian border is all dirt. We're now passing through Chicken, Alaska. Everybody needs to go through Chicken, Alaska. There's at least 4 buildings, one of them which is a gas station, the other one is a restaurant. There's also a couple of outhouses. Now, I took a nap here in the parking lot in Chicken, Alaska, and Ian and Dorothea went out and dug in the dirt out there, got out their gold pans, and I'll be darned if they didn't find gold. Not much, but enough of real gold to make it exciting.
Okay, this is still the Alaskan Highway number 5, also known as Taylor Highway or Top of the World. It's a very dusty road, and I will try to take a picture into the mirror to show all the dust we are leaving behind us. And let's see here. We can see some dust there. Oh, I got it. I'm so thrilled I'm doing this.
After leaving Chicken, Alaska, we got up to mile marker 86 and came across this abandoned gold dredge. I couldn't find a name on it, but there's also a abandoned gold mining operation camp close by. This was back in the late 1800s, and this dredge was built out on the middle of a creek, and it simply floated on a pool of water, and it dug up in front of them and put the rocks out behind them, and it just took the pool of water wherever it is that it went. Don't know how long ago it was abandoned, but it was very fascinating to find this out alongside of a dirt road on a very small stream. Ian, of course, had to explore all the aspects of it, had to keep him from actually crawling inside of the thing. But it was quite interesting. I mentioned mile markers. All the Alaska highways, and there's a lot of them, have mile markers, and there are books produced that tell you mile by mile, mile marker by mile marker, where things are located. Gives you an opportunity to see sites that you would not normally stop and take a look at. This is an actual gold mining operation in progress, and it's right beside the main road. They simply have a steam shovel and a very large sluice box with water flowing through it. The steam shovel just digs up a big scoop of dirt, pours in there. The larger rocks go out one chute, the smaller rocks go out another chute, and then the residue goes out through the sluice box. And again, they are using AstroTurf to capture the gold. They still have to wash it by pan when they get done. Coming over the top of the World Highway into the Yukon Territory, coming down the mountains to the Yukon River, it never dawned on us there's no bridge across that river. There is a free ferry, and there was a long line of cars, and we had to wait in line till it was our turn. But what fun! There is no dock. The road just runs down to the water's edge. They run the boat right up on the onto the ground, or right onto the road, and they lower that ramp, and you're supposed to drive your RV on that thing. Look at this thing, just a dirt road, and they just do it all day long. By the way, it's totally free. It's paid for by the Canadian government. But watch how they bring that in, almost at a 45-degree angle, and they'll simply lower that ramp down. Looks like it holds about 8 to 10 cars, maybe with less with RVs. But it's quite amazing to watch this thing. Well, the ramp is lowered. They're in position now, and they'll start unloading the vehicles. Let's see if I can get a closer one in here. And here goes the first vehicle. Now, Dorothea's holding the camcorder, and I'm driving this car with a 5,000-pound trailer on the back down a gravel road onto a ramp. Talk about being nervous. And we almost forgot something. One of the men directing us onto the ferry boat informed us that we had left the steps to the travel trailer down and would not clear the ramp. He stopped us in time from doing any damage, but we had to jump out of the car, hold up the line of traffic while we put the steps back up. The ferry boat is now moving across the river to the other side and going to deposit us over at Dawson City. Now Dawson City, by the way, still produces, or at least that area around Dawson City produces about 80% of the gold taken out of the Yukon Territory, so it's still a very gold-rich mining area. One by one they're unloading all the vehicles. We're the last one off, but here we go down the ramp on the other side and into Dawson City. Now that was what we call an E-ride in Disneyland. We are now in downtown Dawson City. Very picturesque, very western. Main Street is dirt. Some good entertainment in one of the local theaters. Just outside of Dawson City on a stream, we found a place where a lot of people were panning for gold, so we joined them. We found a little bit. Guy next to Dorothea found a nugget about the size of his little fingernail. Now this was a major mining operation. But again, it's a big steam shovel putting things into a sluice box, running it down, separating the dirt from the gold. On the road from the Yukon down into Skagway, we came across old deserted gold mines right along the side of the highway. This one was an extremely beautiful lake. Look at the cloud cover reflecting off the water. This train is a tourist attraction. It takes people from Skagway, mostly people off the cruise ships, up to the top of the path that was so famous of the gold miners traveling from the seaport into the gold fields of the Yukon Territory. Skagway, Alaska is a seaport, and during the summer months the cruise ships come in here in droves. So most of the town is filled with passengers from the cruise ship. Okay, these are flights up to the glaciers. There's 3 of them taking off. I guess they go in groups of 3. That looks like fun. There goes the next one. And there goes the 3rd one. I guess there's safety in numbers. Okay, we're leaving Skagway on a high-speed ferry tri-hull, no, a catamaran hull, and we're headed to Haines, and it's supposed to be about a 35-minute ride. This was a whale. We just couldn't tell what type of whale. It was too quick, too fast. Okay, this is the Klondike Highway. We're on our way out of Skagway, and it is a long, winding trail coming up the hill there. It's about 24 miles from the ocean to the Canadian border. And I just love the construction on this bridge. It's an interesting looking bridge. I mean, that's all there is to it. It has a nice deep chasm down below it. This is an old railroad bridge at Car Crossing, and it's rather unique as it's a combination of wood and at one time shared with cars going across there. And I want to get a better picture from the side there. Now, there was other things to see around this bridge, like a small museum, and Dorothea wanted me to take a picture of this locomotive and the wagons and the things that they haul the gold out with. Okay, this shows some of the mountains out in the background surrounding the lake. Some people out fishing. It's a little after 9 o'clock at night. Still bright sunlight. Just gorgeous hillsides. We had rain today. We had thunder. We had muddy roads. We had bumpy roads. We just had a marvelous time. Got a beautiful campground, beautiful campsite. We're on Highway 37A from Mezzadine Junction down towards Stewart in Hydeburg, Alaska.
And it is a foggy, rainy, miserable day, but we're just having a good time. We're now at a pull-off just short of Stewart, British Columbia, and this is called the Bear Glacier, and it empties into Bear Lake, which is quite brown, and Bear Lake runs into Bear River, which runs into the ocean, which is one of the Canadian connections, or the British Columbia connections with the ocean this far north. See if I can get a closer view. It is a pretty blue in most places. There is a cave over here. There is ice floating in the water here. Let's see if I can get some of that. And it's quite a view. All right. The mountains are still covered with clouds and fog. The rain seems to have been let up a little bit, but it is rather an impressive looking glacier.
Well, we're headed down the mountain towards Stewart, and it's raining out, cold and wet and miserable, and look at the steam coming off the water. The water is warmer than the air, and therefore we have steam. But it's very, very green, very, very beautiful. Quite a lovely drive. We're in Hyder, Alaska, and we're looking for an observation area that is put up by the U.S. Forestry Service so we can watch bears catch salmon in the stream. And we finally located it. Now, Hyder, Alaska is a very small little town of only about 25 people. It is so remote that they use Canadian money there. And here's the bears looking for salmon. This is a black bear. Probably weighs about 500 pounds. Now, these videos are actually taken by my grandson, and I'm redoing them several years later. But he did a marvelous job. He was only 11 years old on this trip. What was interesting is the education we got. Salmon coming upstream spawn and then die. And there are many, many bodies of dead fish around, but the bears will not touch the dead fish. They prefer a live fish, and they prefer just certain parts of the fish, which tells me that they were not starving to death. But it was quite interesting. It was an observation platform probably about a quarter of a mile long, and there was always a ranger present, so that if the bears decided to come up towards the platform area, that they had the right-of-way. He would clear the tourists out of the way and let the bear have the right-of-way. But none never did come up towards us. But this was some beautiful photography, and it was very interesting. You can see the fish from time to time swimming away from the bear. We actually stayed in Stewart, British Columbia, which is only about 2 miles away from Hyder, because there was a nice RV park there, and the city of Hyder is very small. But I thought it was kind of interesting. This is a seaport, probably the only seaport that is open year-round this far north. But the Canadians take so much better care of their highways than the Americans do. This is a nice paved highway. Yet when we come around the corner and drive into Hyder, you'll see right at the borderline between British Columbia and Alaska how the pavement simply runs out and becomes a dirt bumpy road. Now my wife, the chief bottle and cook and bottle washer and chief captain of this trip, has decided that she wants to drive up to the top of the Salmon Glacier ice fields so we can take some pictures. Now this road going up to this Salmon Glacier is one of the worst roads I've ever been in. Of course, we have a Ford Expedition and heavy duty tires, but it was a mean road. Top speed was about 15 miles an hour. I believe we made the 22 miles up to the top in about an hour and a half. It was slow driving. Now, Dorothea actually did the driving up on this hillside. She drove up, I drove down, and we got back to our RV park, and later that afternoon found out that we had a rock puncture from driving on this road. This is a very large mining operation, and it looks like they're strip mining. It just, tore the heck out of the hillside, but it's still in operation. A lot of men working, and as you can see, it is still gray and foggy and wet, but we're going up this dirt road, and we're going to get to the top of the glacier.
Now, if anybody is looking for gold, this is the place to look for it. I mean, right alongside the highway, you can find gold. I mean, just great big hunks of gold.
Now we have arrived almost to the top of the Salmon Glacier Road, and we're looking down upon the glacier itself, and you can see the lines in the ice. Later on, when we get up high, it becomes so foggy that it becomes quite difficult to photograph the ice down below. That's Ian out there throwing rocks over the edge of the cliff into the clouds. You can't see the glacier down below. As you can tell, it's quite foggy. I was hoping that these pictures would turn out. It was quite beautiful despite the fog.
I wanted to get a picture of the crevices in this ice, this glacier. By the way, this glacier is the 5th largest left still in British Columbia. And it's pretty, it's rugged, a lot of dirt. Hey, everybody wave! Well, this is a very impressive view of the glacier.
This is mile marker or stop number 13. We went all the way up to stop number 14, which was the top of the glacier. I just wanted to go quickly around here to show the pretty valley, and with all the fog and everything. And down here is the river coming out of the... Well, this is the road we are taking presently down, but we had to come on up. And it's bumpy, it has potholes, it has boulders and trees on the side at parts. It's rather narrow and
steep.
Yeah, that's what Chuck was saying. It's steep, and he was worried about it at times. But to me, this was a regular adventure, and I'm really happy that we came.
Okay, we just stopped alongside the road at a pond. Had to get some pictures of these water lilies. I guess they are water pads, lily pads. I don't know what they are. But the bright yellow on these things is just absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if we can get in close. There are many, many totem poles here. This is one just close up to us. Carving is very unique. They're restored totem poles, apparently. They're not freshly cut or anything, but that's according to our book that we're reading. It's all restored.
This is the world's largest fly fishing pole, which is located in Houston. And it's not Houston, Texas. It is Houston, British Columbia. And we have a couple fishermen standing right there. I do not know what they're catching, but they're trying something.
We're now in the Canadian Rockies. I'm doing the driving, Dorothea's doing the filming right through the windshield. A little bit bouncy, but just magnificent mountains, and the snow on the mountaintops looks like frosting on a cake. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And it's still wet and damp outside, but we're moving south now.
This was Ian's favorite position while traveling all the way up to Alaska. He would take numerous naps during the day. He had his pillow, He's stretched out. He's still short enough to fit on the back seat. And there's a blanket on the bottom of his feet. Well, Ian needed to go quick to the bathroom, and he couldn't hold it, so he is watering the tree. No, this is just a joke. Chuck is going to get some fresh water here. We are in Jasper National Park, and we have a beautiful campsite. We have to be careful for with the bears. And
okay, just to add to Dorothea's rainbow, this is down by the railroad tracks in downtown Jasper, and it is quite a startling rainbow. I'm sure I can't get it if I zoom in on it. It seems to disappear on me. What the heck, it'd be worth trying.
we are at the Wabasso campground at Jasper National Forest. It's already past 9 o'clock because in Alberta, Canada, we needed to set our watch 1 hour ahead. Ian started his fire for his marshmallows. Chuck is whittling on another walking stick. I wonder who's going to be the lucky recipient of that one. And we're going to be having marshmallows with chocolate and crackers tonight for dessert. And it should be mighty tasty.
Okay, Ian's making, what are these, s'mores? S'mores?
S'mores.
S'mores, s'mores. Oh, that's like a more with an S in front of it, right?
No kidding.
And where's the other half of the family? Okay, we've got all sorts of stuff going on here. It's wet out. She's eating a s'mores. How is it, Mrs. Hale? For the audience.
Delicious.
Oh, good.
This is
What are you doing? You're putting a burnt marshmallow on top of chocolate and a candy bar?
chocolate is the candy bar.
I mean, well, those are supposed to be graham crackers, but we don't have any graham crackers, right? Boy, that looks delicious anyway. Whatever it is. Get them all, kid. I mean, might as well. Get them all. Get all cleaned up. Seeing that we don't have any water in the trailer to wash with. And I just wanted to get a picture of our campsite here this morning. We have sunshine, have a little tiny fire going, just had a lovely breakfast of bacon and eggs. And it is just truly gorgeous being out here. Here is the glacier high up, and 3 waterfalls coming out from underneath the glacier, and let's see how close up I can get of those. If I go too maximum, it gets too shaky. But anyway, there's some pretty waterfalls coming out from underneath the... All right, this is Mount Kitchener, 3,505 meters high, and the glacier here is unreal. It's just snow-capped. I'm going to go back here just a little bit. I mean, it just extends on, and then the sunlight up high, hitting that snow and ice up on top. Let me go up there close and see if we can't see how. That's not just clouds up there. I mean, that's just all banks of snow. It looks like it's almost ready for an avalanche. I'm going to go over here to the right. Maybe moving a little bit too fast here. Just wild, rugged, beautiful country. This is looking at the country behind us that we've already traveled through. This is an ice field, or a glacier if you want to call it, right close down to the highway. And they offer tours where they actually go and drive onto these ice fields with these big buses with big fat tires, and drive right out onto the ice fields. I guess you get a chance to go up there and walk on it as well. Okay, we're getting ready to go out on the ice tour.
So there's the track vehicles just in front of us. The small little red one that's directly in front is a bombardier built. Now, 150 years ago, the surface of the glacier was right to the top of this hill, but not anymore. Getting to the glacier now does involve just a short little drop down over the side. Oh, just a safety note before we go down, those that are in the aisle seat, if you can just reach underneath your seat, there's a belt that goes across both flaps. 32%, about the same as an expert ski front.
32% downslope.
Now these vehicles, they are built for such terrain as this, which is a good thing. There's 6-wheel drive, all 6 wheels powered, geared extremely low. I'm not using the brakes. Instead, my foot is all the way down on the throttle in low gear. Now the tires themselves really are tractor tires. They have very low air pressure in them. Now the vehicles are built and designed by a company out of Calgary, Alberta. And again, the same idea on our right-hand side. You can see the ice underneath the rock and dirt. Now we're just going through a little pool of water. Indeed, but high up on the Columbia ice field above the head wall, it's always colder up there. So that means...
Okay, we're on the ice field itself, facing a glacier. And an ice field is simply a different form of glacier. There's some technical term for it. Where I'm standing and taking this picture, the ice is over 1,000 feet deep. That's impressive. Running down the ice. Kind of shooting in the sun because there's a glacier high above us here on the south side. We're very, very lucky that we have a bright, sunshiny day. Banff National Park on our way towards Lake Louise, and we're going past a beautiful lake, but the mountains in the background are still just magnificent, and I'm going to try and get a shot of those, get up here and show you just how tall those suckers are. And that's a long ways up there. Walking up to the entranceway of the Chateau Lake Louise Hotel in Albert, Canada, and it is very impressive. Okay, we're inside the hotel looking out onto the lake, and this is actually just a sitting area. There's the sign, and the lake on beyond it. Okay, we're visiting a lake called Moraine Lake, about Moraine, I get corrected on that, about 14 kilometers from Lake Louise. It's full of logs, still very pretty lake, beautiful background country, some gorgeous mountainsides that are just, you know, huge and tall and up there in the air, and very pretty. There's a region called the Ten Peaks. Dorothea wanted me to get a shot of this, so since I'm going to let her have the last word in this conversation, I'm going to take a picture of it. Okay, today is the 15th of August, and we are returning to the United States at Piegan, Montana. Yay! I mean, this is it. We may not know where you come back from. Have a good trip. Pull down the bar. That's a boy. Well, there's Ian all by himself going up. This is actually his third trip down the Alpine Slide in Park City, Utah. We've done this before, but this is first time for Ian. I'm going to show you how far up that hillside he really is. That's a long ways up to the top. The trip down is over 1/2 mile. That looks like Ian. There he goes. He's coming through there pretty fast. He's doing all right. All right, down for the last roundup. He's bringing it in for a stop now.
I want to close out this travelogue about Alaska and driving to Alaska with a few photographs. And I want to talk about RVing to Alaska. Dorothea and I and Ian, it was only our second trip with the RV, and therefore relatively new. We made a mistake of going too far too fast. We traveled 9,300 miles in 9 weeks. That's just not enough time to see Alaska. We came home very exhausted. We have learned since then in RVing to drive and have what we call 2 one-night stands. That's where we stay in an RV park just overnight. Have 2 one-night stands and then stay for 2 or 3 nights in a single place so the driver gets plenty of rest. The next thing that we learned is not to drive so far so fast. In other words, we were going down the highway 45, 50 miles an hour, and we would travel up to 300 miles in a day. That's no way to see Alaska or even regular RVing. So therefore we drive anywhere from 60 miles if we feel like it to 150 miles maximum, so that we get a fairly early start. When I say early start, about 9 o'clock in the morning. But always, especially in Alaska, start looking for a campsite or an RV park at 3 in the afternoon. The reason for this is there is a lot of RVers during the summer months in British Columbia and throughout Canada and in Alaska. And so we found that we got the pick of the RV park by being there around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, if you start trying to find a place to park your RV at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, it's tough. You get sometimes the overflow or find a dirt road off the main road to park your RV because it gets crowded. So the secret there, of course, was to stop early. So since the Alaska trip, we have learned to travel at a slower speed, see more, relax more, have more fun, take more photos, do more videos, and in general just have a good time. As I am making this film, a reminder that this was filmed originally, the trip was in 1999, and currently this is 2006, and Dorothea and I are talking about going back to Alaska in 2007 with the new knowledge that we want to apply. Anyway, it was a fun trip. Ian only went on a couple more trips before he got too old to go with Grandpa and Grandma, and I should say Omi, but we had a lot of fun when he did go with us, and it was a remarkable trip. It was a dream of a lifetime. Bye. These photos here were fun. This is down on the Valdez Bay, where Ian actually got to see an eagle swoop down and grab a fish right out of the water. We caught pink salmon, only about 4 to 8 pounds, but we laid in about 20 pounds of fillet. So it was a lot of fun for Grandpa and grandson to get together and do that. And we're cleaning fish here. We joke about stopping in at Chicken, Alaska. There's about 4 buildings, a gas station, and a couple outhouses. That's all there is to it. Now, the scenes of us going down this dirt road, and this is a very nice dirt road, a reminder that about 95% of all the highways in Alaska are paved. Most of them very nicely paved. You do have to slow down a little bit in the northern parts of Alaska where the permafrost has bent the road a little bit, and keep the speed down on the car because it will feel like you're driving over the top of logs. Alaska itself is vast, it's beautiful. Dorothea and I actually enjoyed the Yukon just as much as we did Alaska. There was some fabulous lakes, a tremendous amount of wildlife in the Yukon territory, and some of the side trips we made to some of the deserted ghost towns were just fabulous. You would see bears, you would see moose, you would see elk, caribou, porcupines, all sorts of different wildlife, just about every place you went except for major cities, of course. But it was truly a beautiful trip, and I think it would be fun to do it again.